Hey everybody, this is Laird of Garskadden. Today I want to do a video regarding a particular comment that was made on my page, and I'm going to use this comment as impetus to make the video that I kind of said I'd make a while back that describes the sociological model that I am trying to test for my senior thesis this fall. And that is regarding racism, or more particularly xenophobia. This comment was made by a person called Nomad Turk 43, and he says, quote, "Fuck you, we," this is capitalized, "are the Turk, the best human race has to offer." And okay. Yeah. My plan for this video is to give a counterexample as to why the Turks are not the superior race. Now keep in mind that I am not implying that the Turkish people are the inferior race or whatever. Racism is really stupid. It's grounded in ignorance. The Genome Project pretty much proves that there is no such thing as, race. We're all the same Homo sapien. It's really a question of culture. Yeah, I'm going to give the counterexample of my Turkish stepfamily, go briefly over the history, and then give the sociological model. Okay. First of all, the counterexample is my Turkish stepfamily. I've mentioned this before, that I have this Turkish stepfamily. I didn't really talk about it, though. Though I love them to death, I visit them, a couple times a year. Though I love them very much, in all honesty, they are the most airheaded people I have ever seen. And, that's kind of saying a lot. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube. They leave lots of comments that are really ignorant, really airheaded. Not just on YouTube, but all over. And then even here in Tennessee, yeah, there's a lot of really airheaded, ditzy, bubbly people, but my Turkish stepfamily really takes the cake. And I'm going to give an example as to why they're like this. And it's not race, but Nomad Turk might take it as a race thing. Their culture encourages their children not to work at a job or even to do chores around the house until they're out on their own, or more particularly when they're married. To give an example, I have a 17-year-old Turkish step-cousin who washed her first dish earlier this year. I was right next to her when she did that. She was very, very slow, and she thought the idea of touching a dirty dish was repulsive. She was like, ew, icky, icky, ew, ugh, disgusting, ugh. And from what I gather, she's actually above average in her high school. She's actually quite smart, from what I gather. But from the conversations that we've had, yeah, she talks kind of slow, and she's not very focused on the topic or whatnot. Not very intellectually stimulating, but I can't really compare myself to her since I'm 23 and I'm about to graduate from college. But still, yeah, she was above average, and she did not plan on doing any chores or even getting a job out of school. So, yeah, is this really the superior race we're talking about here? And this is everybody in my Turkish stepfamily has done this. My Turkish stepmother didn't learn how to cook until she got married to my father. Yeah, how's that? How is that? I don't know how old she was, but she had never cooked anything in her life. Going back to my 17-year-old Turkish step-cousin, she didn't know how to make ramen. I don't even think she was familiar with how to operate a microwave. Everything was taken care of for her. And, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I mean, except for the fact that it doesn't really prepare you for the real world. And, the thinking behind it is that they should enjoy their childhood while they've got it. That's how it was explained to me. But obviously, there are some disadvantages to that because she was just not skilled, not very coordinated, and not very motivated to do any work. Anyway, that's my counterexample. No, they're not the superior race, and they're not the inferior race. It's a question of culture. And the Turkish culture, in my Western American worldview, I think that the Turkish culture has some flaws in it that really need to be fixed. Because, I mean, it's not preparing you for the real world. And my Turkish step-cousin, I think, is really, really set back because of that. I think their culture didn't prepare them adequately or well enough. But that's just coming from my Western worldview. You guys are welcome to debate it or whatever. But that is not an example of the superior race. Nomad Turk 43. Not superior race. Now, the racism of Nomad Turk 43 is not rare. In fact, it is quite common from what I've seen. They particularly have a thing, a particular xenophobia towards Armenians. They'll say that the Armenians are, treacherous dogs, like, as far as race goes. It's like in their blood or something really dumb like that. And this racism actually goes back for over 100 years during the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. And, you could argue that it goes back a lot farther than that, but I'm not too familiar with a lot of the Ottoman Empire's history. But the racism does go back for at least 100 years with the government policies of pan-Turkism, or ideologies of pan-Turkism, like everybody is a Turk, etc. It's really put forth by the Turkish poet called Ziya Gökalp, and he had what I would call a psychotic dream of Turan, which is the idealized, mystical place of where all the Turks will reside someday, and it will be cleansed of all rogue elements of all the inferior races, like anything that's not Turkish. And it was explicitly stated that the Turks are the superior race, and blah 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 blah. You get the point. Another thing is the Turkish language was supposed to be the primary language. Obviously, the one language that's going to unite the Ottoman Empire is going to be Turkish. Obviously, don't question it at all. Anyway, the racism was evident during then, and it is evident now. Okay. Now, I'm going to move on to the sociological model that I am going to test this fall.